Welcome to TrailManners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Eric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for TrailManners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails, Eric Manning and Joel Hatch.
Welcome to the TrailManners podcast, episode number 34. Today, we are going to be talking with Tara Warren, who is fresh, like 2 days fresh back from the Bighorn 100. So if this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The TrailManners podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at TrailManners. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. All right, welcome back to the TrailManners podcast. We're already at episode 34. Sitting here with Joel at beautiful Mount Ogden Park here at the base of Malin's Peak. How are you today?
I'm doing really good.
Yeah, did you have a good Father's Day?
Yeah, lots of just random stuff. It was really busy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mine was pretty low-key. Had a great breakfast set up for me. I didn't have to cook.
Yeah.
Got some cool little presents, some Bigfoot lunch boxes.
Oh, nice.
Nice little assortment of IPAs, which was pretty impressive. So got to give a shout-out to my family on that. So hope everybody had a great Father's Day.
Yep.
It's always a fun day once a year to do that. So we also want to remind them about some cool stuff. You've got a sweet Boco TrailManners hat on.
I sure do. I think I saw a picture from Bryce. It was Brad Sween.
Yeah, he had a sweet.
He had the one I have on, which is, what color do I have on today?
That's the gray and green
gray.
with the black mesh.
That one's pretty tight. I like that one.
Yeah, it looks
He had
good.
that one on.
Yep, had it on backwards, looking like a rock star.
Thanks for representing down there. Appreciate it.
No problem.
So we need to move some of this gear so we can get some new gear.
That's right. And we want to see pictures of our gear in cool places.
That's right.
'Cause we've seen some pretty cool stuff. I know Brad's been doing a lot of that. You can hashtag us, or the other one that's real popular where us is now Go Get It.
I know.
That's pretty
You
fun.
looked that up the other day, and you were surprised, weren't you?
I was, so I apologize to everybody who's been hashtagging that. We're going to keep a better eye on that, but we want to say thanks. I'm wearing the Pearl Izumi gray shirt.
Oh, my
Trail
favorite.
Manor. It is comfy. I like to wear
that one.
It's my Sunday school shirt.
Yep.
It's my dress shirt. We got some stuff online. Go ahead and place some orders. Let's get that out.
Got some stickers, too. I got a whole bunch, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just sitting in my truck.
Well, don't start handing them out.
Hand them out? You want me to?
Yeah,
I can hand them out.
People come to your truck or people come to my bus, we'll
Yeah.
hand you one if you find us, and we're not going to tell you where you're at. So
Okay.
good luck with that. So, and then we also had a good run this weekend. We did a nice little Lewis Peak run and tested out some gear.
We did, yeah. So we got our Spries out, UltrAspire Spry. So this is like the third time I think I've used it.
Yeah, it's the 2.0 version.
A lot better than the previous version. Really comfortable. This is the first time I took it with my bladder. And I have to say, I like my bladder better than the bottles up front.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you were paying attention last week, there was a video on UltrAspire's website. Showed Bryce, the owner, the creator, the mad scientist, creating these straws that you put into the bottle so that way you don't have to take the bottle out. I need some of those. So Tina, if you're listening, which I know you are, hook me up with some of those straws.
Yeah.
Right? I need some of those.
Bring it that way. And
That's right.
I tried something different because I'm trying to get away from a bladder.
Yep.
Because it's just never know how much you drink, the weight on your back. And I do like bottles, but I like not running with handhelds. So now I'm stuck with, I tried out the Speed Goat waist belt. And I've been testing a little bit, but they only have the 2 bottles.
Right.
So I wore the Spry 2.0 through one of those bottles in the back of that, plus the 2 on my waist.
Yeah.
And I really liked it.
So how many ounces does that give you then?
Let's see, 18 times 3. So you do the math at home because I don't want to do it. It's 56 ounces.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm throwing that out there.
Okay.
But that worked out really well, and I've never liked waist belts, but the Speed Goat waist belt from UltrAspire is dialed in.
Yeah, you've been using that a lot, and there's been no complaints on his part. So Trust him when he says that.
So we did some of that, and you jumped in some new shoes.
I did. I finally got a pair of the trail version of the Pearl Izumi N3. Now, there is a really big difference between the trail version and the road version. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, duh. But I'm going to be honest. I like the road shoe better than the trail shoe.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. The road shoe feels softer. It's lighter. It's not overbuilt. The trail shoe, I mean, there's really, sometimes, yes, you need to have a little bit more protection there. But they over-engineered this shoe. It's still a good shoe. I'm not going to say don't get it, but boy, the road shoe is much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I had to choose between the two, I'm going to go with the road one.
So you're going to start running roads now?
No, I'm allergic to the road. Highly allergic to the road.
Allergic to asphalt, gravel, and cars?
Yeah, I no, definitely not. So, yep, of course I'll run that shoe until it's done with its life. But, yeah, the road shoe, N3, and then the Challenger, this new version of the Challenger, the Hoka Challenger. I've been running in it some, and I like it. It's a lot different than that first version. It's got a little more firmness to it, but you still have the cushion. But same problem, toe box.
Yeah.
I wish they would just get that figured out. I mean, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
They know about it. And I think, when we talked to our guest on the show today, previously she said there's some stuff coming down the pipeline with a little bit of a toe box. So that excites me to hear that.
Well, and then we're both gearing up. So you've got Beaverhead.
I do. I got Beaverhead 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks.
Yep.
I got to hurry up and start training.
July 9th.
Yeah.
That's a good day.
Yeah, that's going to be, I'm
someone's
excited
gonna
for
go
that one. I think that the registration's open until the 25th. So the podcast will air on the 21st.
Yeah.
So you still have a couple days.
Yeah.
There's two distances. You've got a 50K and a 100K. Both of them look stunning. You get up on the Continental Divide between Idaho and Montana. And, boy, it looks really pretty.
It
Challenging,
does.
too.
And I like I said, I tossed it around, but I think I'm going to stick and stay down at Capitol Reef.
Yeah, which is billed as the hardest 50 in Utah now.
Yeah, that doesn't make me feel better. But
Yeah.
Looks pretty.
It does look pretty.
And they just made an announcement, which is kind of cool. And, I don't know the pronunciation, but Arnolfo from Born to Run, the Tarahumaras are going to be there.
That'd be cool.
That'll be kind of cool,
yeah.
To hang out with those guys and share some cornmeal or whatever and hang out with them and see if they can help me out. But that'll be exciting. So I'm excited for Capitol Reef. Pretty area.
Yeah.
Going to pass on the Beaverhead this year, but it's definitely on my to-do list. So I'll have to get your course recon on that one.
No problem.
And there's actually another race coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know, it's billed. It seems pretty popular. I've been reading a lot about it. Western States, I think it's called, 100.
I think I've heard of that. Is that a relay race?
Yeah, right. So that's coming up this weekend, and that's a lot of excitement building around this one.
Yeah, right? I mean, there's not like some of the old school guys, they aren't there anymore, right?
Yeah.
I've got some young bucks in there.
Yeah.
That Walmsley kid.
Oh, yeah.
My money's on him right now.
Is it? That's
or Sage.
Yeah, it's hard to go.
Toss up between those two fellas.
Yeah, I don't know who has the best day, right?
Yeah, it depends on the heat, right? Whoever does best with the heat, because it's supposed to be hot.
Yep.
For the ladies, boy, Magdalena's going to do it again.
Yeah, you'd got to. That's a safe bet, I think.
Yeah, right? She's just a rock star.
Yeah.
Stephanie Howe, I love her, but Magdalena's going to do it again.
Well, and we'd like to see what you guys think out there. So post on the thread of this podcast on Facebook. Let us know who you think's going to win. Maybe there's some dark horses we don't know about, and there always is. There's always those out there. But that'll be exciting to see how that unfolds. And then again, we'll just bring up briefly last week's show with Luke Nilsson.
Yep.
It was such a great show. Got a lot of good feedback. And then even just this week, there's a couple stories just recently came out. There was the mountain lion attack in Aspen, Colorado. Mountain lion came down, started attacking a 5-year-old, and I believe it was in their yard.
Yeah, I think so. That's what it sounded like.
And the mom came out and opened a can.
Yeah, she did. Mama Bear came out and just whooped that lion.
That's right.
I think it was 2 lions, as a matter of fact, because they ended up killing 2 lions in the area.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but, I mean, the mom did the right thing. You got to fight back.
That's right, because, there's been, we won't even go the other one. But then the next one that I just read about is the woman down in New Mexico running a marathon got attacked by a black bear.
Now, so was this marathon on the road?
The little article I saw, it didn't say. It was just saying it's a national preserve in northern New Mexico.
Right.
She got scratches, bites, head injuries. I saw a picture, and she actually, when I hear a bear attack, I think the worst. And she looked I won't say good, but
So
better off.
where was she bit? You know?
Oh, head, arms.
Oh,
yeah,
gnarly.
Yeah. It looked like she had head, neck, upper body that weren't life-threatening. So some other runners came along, helped her out. It was a female black bear. It was the Caldera National Preserve.
Yeah.
VALLES, and I'm horrible with pronunciations of some of the stuff, but down the National Preserve. But it says the officer said the victim surprised the bear after her cub had run up a tree.
Oh. Yeah.
So
So,
there you
like I
go.
said, don't surprise Mama Bear.
That's right.
Right.
So, and that kind of goes back to what Luke talked about, is just being prepared when you're out there. There's things like that you really don't prepare for. I mean, how rare are those things? But you have to be aware, and you have to, some stuff happens.
Yeah, I think in that scenario, when you surprise Mama Bear, it's flight or flight, right? With that one, I mean, you can either fight back or turn tail and run. Like when we were on Lewis, and I mean, we saw 5 moose on Lewis, which was so awesome.
It was
I know,
awesome.
and then some random deer. But then so those of you that don't know Lewis Peak, we took it from the shores of Pineview Reservoir, and it's a 9-mile climb, and you got 6 miles of really steady climbing, and then you get on the ridge and you got 3 miles of kind of just undulating running. And so Eric and I were on the ridge, and we're just yakking away because that's how we roll. And I'm out front running, and I hear this noise coming up behind us quick. And it scares the mess out of me. And I turn around and I push Eric towards the noise, thinking that some bear's coming up to eat us. I totally threw him under the bus. So, lesson learned is either you got to be prepared to run or throw your partner into the danger.
Yeah, now I know where that. And it ended up being a motorcycle.
It was a motorcycle, yeah.
And I would have taken him out. I think
Yeah.
I had a good chance of that. But that was pretty funny. Joel did a little hop, skip, push move, and I was like, "What is happening right now?" But let's go ahead and get into our show.
Yep.
We have a guest. Wow, that was close.
Well, that was close.
That was close. Second-time guest. So
Yes.
this is, we're getting there, and there's for good reason.
The
So
only time we're ever going to bring her on is when she finishes 100 miles.
that's right.
Yeah.
And she just finished the Bighorn 100.
Yep.
In a time of 28:48.
Yep. That's fast.
That's good. Female 10th overall.
Yeah.
There was a female course record set.
Hot day, too.
Yeah. And so our guest today is Tara Warren.
Woohoo.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Tara, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah. So the Bighorn 100, just real quick, the male finisher, 2028, Seth Kelly, blazing.
Yeah, that's fast.
And a favorite, the women, Ashley Nordell, course record, 21:38.
Yeah,
That's
even faster.
crazy.
Now, who is Ashley coached by?
Ty Draney, what is up with you, man?
I know. He's killing it on the
He
coaching
is.
side.
He really is. His athletes are crushing it, setting course records, having time. And if you
Our
know
guy,
Ashley, she's been
Ty.
around,
Yeah.
and she's done really well.
She has.
And she's run Bighorn, and she's done a lot of big things, and she did really well, and she felt good after the race from what I've understood, because we're going to get her on the show.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We've talked to her, but Tara, what do you just did your first 100 in September,
The bear?
the Bear 100, and that was in 35 hours. So 9 months later, right? And then you go ahead and say, let's cut off almost, 6-7 hours.
Right.
That's pretty
Similar,
good, right?
Similar, like course-wise, right? Like difficulty, do you think? Or which one do you think is harder?
Oh, my goodness. For me, whatever race I'm about to do,
That's
is
harder.
really the hardest
Gotcha.
one. Really. I don't remember much still about what happened this past weekend, but it was pretty hard. It was good. It was really hot and really steep and really fast. And I
Hot,
didn't realize
steep,
it was
and fast.
hot, steep, and fast.
That would be a great tagline.
Isn't that?
Yeah. We own it. Don't even think about it, folks.
Joel just stamped it.
That's ours.
Well, I didn't know it was 9 months since the bear. So
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
this is like a new birth
Yeah.
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, 9
A
months.
new baby,
Yeah.
a new 100-mile baby.
That's a good one, too.
And, it's
Well, and
we're done.
and it was a good weekend because Bryce ran it, your
My
husband,
husband
and he
Bryce,
did
yeah.
it in 26 hours.
He did.
So you're
that's-
barely behind him. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the tracking app actually showed us together for most of the race,
Yeah.
which we weren't at all.
Yeah.
And so I know a few friends out there thought that, oh, how sweet that we were running the race together. But
Holding
those
it
of you who
tethered
know,
to each other.
Yeah, right. Those of you who know my lone wolf husband know that would not have been the case, and it wasn't. So,
Yeah.
But he did great, and
That's
super
awesome.
proud of him. He did fantastic.
So let me ask you this, because I know sometimes how that works. I know you've crewed and, Bryce in the past, and I know, you've had crew and stuff. You were up there without any crew at all, right? Both of you.
Yeah.
So how did that change so many things? I mean, you obviously went with drop bags. I'm gonna assume that right now because we haven't asked you yet. But I mean, did that change your mindset at all? Not having maybe the warm fuzzies, like running the bear, having people at every aid station or whatever.
It did. It really did. And you're hitting some chords now. It really
Sweet.
did. I think I've done 2 pretty significant races already this year before the Bighorn, and I know that mentally prepared me for having to do this by myself. I did Black Canyon 100.
100K.
Down in 100K.
Yeah,
right.
100K.
Down in Arizona, and also the Zane Gray 50
That's
miler
tough, too.
down in
I
Arizona.
know, 2 hard races.
So pretty early on, and went down there by myself, unsupported, and had a riot. It was great. Had some good experiences down there, and I think grew a lot. Like learned a lot about myself and what I needed and what I didn't need. And although I would have loved to have had people around me, of course, and had the support and help through the night, that's always great. But you just make do with what you have, and you just move forward, and whatever happens.
Well, and you said it too. You kind of learn a lot, and like you said, you were on your own, and the difference of that's in itself such a huge challenge. Just that mental aspect, because you've been training hard. We've seen you on the trails all winter long.
Yep.
You've had these hard, tough races that you've done. So physically, you'd have to say, okay, you're ready, with your training. But you really can't train if you don't know something, right? So
exactly.
that the unknown of not having those, because I love it. I love coming into an aid station and knowing I have a crew. I love coming into an aid station knowing I know people that maybe I don't see often. And say, hey, look, there's Manners. Oh, hey, I mean that brings so much oomph to you when you know them. So this that whole mental side of things, the unknown, and then the challenge. It's 100 miles
Right.
on an unfamiliar course. That's impressive. It really is, and that's something that you grow from.
It's true. Thank you. Yeah, it was an interesting setup because it's an out and back. So you go in about 48 miles where the big turnaround is, or where they actually start the 50-mile race called the Jaws aid station. What a terrible name, for like an aid station. Jaws, like really, why that? But so you get to that point, and it was right about that point too where I ran into Bryce. And I think I just scared him because I knew we were pretty close, and I knew I'd be seeing him eventually because we'd turn around unless something had happened to him. So I think I scared him with my excitement in the middle of the night just for seeing somebody I knew, just because, I do enjoy that. I do enjoy seeing other people out there I know, especially, your spouse. And so it was cool to see him and give him a hug as he flipped around and went the other way. And I kept on going to the aid station and went into that big aid station tent there, and it was kind of like the Beaver Mountain scenario at the Bear, where you don't really want to go in,
Right.
But you kind of need to, but
Yep.
you probably shouldn't, and you maybe want to stay out. So I took that philosophy because at that time of night, it was close to midnight. That was just all I could think about. Don't go in the warm hut
Right.
with all the people.
Yeah.
And so I thought about that, and I gave them my number, and they got my bag, and I just sat down outside in the grass. And immediately 4 medics came running out to me, thought I was delirious, thought I maybe had some problems at that point. And I kept trying to convince them that I was fine.
Right.
But after you've already run about 50 miles, when you try to look at somebody in the eye and tell them you're fine, you're already not much there
Right.
anyway.
You're
so
glazed.
just the peppering of questions I got at that point. And I just really wanted to eat some food and change my socks. And in the dark without all of the loud
Hoopla.
music and
Right.
the heaters blaring. So that was kind of a memorable experience at the Jaws. But really good people, great organization. I have never seen such a tightly knit race put together. Like
Right
it was
on.
just really everything was taken care of.
I think that this race director's been doing it for a long time,
Yeah.
right? Is this the
Yeah.
same one, do you think?
I think so. I
think-
think it's a group of people.
Yeah, I think so.
I think 4 or 5 people's names were mentioned at the award ceremony. I think this was the 15th annual 100th mile
Right.
portion and maybe the 24th
Yep.
50-mile.
Because I had friends back when I was living in Jackson in the late 90s. I had friends that were going and doing the 50K and 50-mile version of this. So it's been going on for a long time.
Oh, they had everything put together.
Yeah.
And I've heard that about this race. They're very organized. I've complaint-wise, the only complaints I've ever heard about this race is weather.
Mud.
Right?
Yeah.
Mud.
Yeah.
And you
Mud.
can't control that.
That's all I heard too.
yeah.
Right. I think even you guys told me that from the beginning when
Yeah.
I was asking if you were heading out, and
Right.
you were like, oh, muddy. No.
But you said there's no mud this year.
there was no mud, and I don't know.
Do you feel robbed? Do you feel cheated?
I do not.
Good.
I've had my share of mud and poor weather. I'm okay with that. It was marshy near the top, which was strange for the elevation. About, I think it was around 9,000 at the top. Kind of marshy,
Yeah.
real soft terrain running up to the jaws. And yeah, other than that, just beautiful mountain vistas. We ran along these beautiful rivers. The Little Bighorn was just phenomenal. It was almost the color of the Bear Lake entry when you're just dropping into Bear Lake.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Turquoise blue with these huge boulders, and you
Nice.
just tried not to look too carefully or you'd trip and knock your teeth out. You know, you had to just keep focusing on the trail. It was pretty technical, I would say.
So what are the, for you, so you had 9 months ago you ran the Bear, and then you had this one. What are some of the things that maybe you carried over or learned from the Bear that really helped out at Bighorn? You know, because, I mean, this is just your second 100, and, I mean, again, 6+ hour PR is huge. I mean, that's not, I don't care what course you're on. That's huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so what are some of the things that you took from the Bear that you think might have helped you at Bighorn?
Well, for me, I'm super grateful and happy that I finished the Bear, but that Bear experience was just about finishing. Like, there was not a lot of running involved in that toward the end, and I've mentioned before, I had some great people getting me through to that point, or else I would have dropped way on early in that with feet problems. This seemed more like a race. Like, I was really running, and that felt so good, and I knew I could run. I didn't know how far I could run for that long. I tried my best to keep running, but some things that I worked on over the winter was hiking hard, and those are things that I never could have imagined that were really part of ultra running. That's kind of the not talked about side
Right.
of it. And as just a rookie getting started, for me, I was all about the running. I love running, and so you run and you keep running, but it's the hiking that really, I think, builds your character, because in the dark hours of the night, that's what helps you keep going. You're not running, you're hiking as hard as you can, and you're just trying to keep going. You're not really walking, you're really trying to power hike as much as you can. And with that focus on really hiking up the hills and running, maybe even running hard down the hills, you're just trying to make good time. That, and I did a lot of extra core work this year, and tried incorporating more biking and yoga and a little bit of weight training here and there. And that seemed to help a lot. And I feel like I've grown as a runner and as an athlete, and hopefully that'll keep translating as I move forward.
So a lot of the cross training, and then again being just more efficient is kind of what that is with the hiking and everything else. 'Cause I've noticed that with myself, is especially at Pocatello a few weeks ago, just your efficiency. There's a guy that was running this hill, and I would never even attempt to run the hill he was running, and I was hiking, and we were at the exact same pace. But when we got to the top of the hill, he stopped, and I just kept, and that's when I started running.
Right.
And not to say that that's good or bad. I mean, it's whatever, but it's that efficiency and knowing what you're comfortable with. So it sounds like that helped a lot.
Yeah, it's true. And everyone's different. Everyone's going to have their different strategy, and I applaud everyone who even attempts to go out there and do whatever they can, and that's great. And it's funny, my husband and I were sitting and plotting a lot before this race, and he advises me a lot as he's done so many of these. This was his fourth start at the Bighorn, and it's all about going slow. That's really hard for me to wrap my head around, because I like to go fast, and it's about slowing your pace down and listening to what your body's telling you. And I tried to keep my average pace around 12, 13-minute miles, and so that when the big climbs came, and there were so many huge climbs on this race, I think the first 8 miles was straight up.
Wow.
It was like a Ben Lomond that never stopped, just kept going. Gorgeous, gorgeous climb, but it just kept going and going and going. And with an 11 a.m. start, that was a brutal way
So
to
how
just
is that different?
begin the day.
Right, so that's a lot different. That's
lot different.
We don't have a whole bunch of races in the U.S. that do that on the ultra scene. Europe
No.
does, but so was your body ready to run at that point, or were you kind of like in lunch mode?
I was in lunch mode
Yeah.
because you guys know I'm an early bird.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I am out the door and ready to go early. And we were just hanging out. It's almost time to go. We almost missed the shuttle just
Really?
because we were
Shopping
just
and going
Shopping.
down Main
out.
Street.
Yeah, because it's hard because you wake up and your adrenaline's pumping. You're ready
Right.
to go.
So was there some anxiety when you woke up, and then you're like, oh, I got like 4 or
Yes.
5 hours until the race starts?
Yes, totally.
Ugh.
Totally. So, just tried to keep focusing in and kept checking your stuff 100 times. And
Yeah.
making sure your shoes are on the right way. And, it was a lot different. I prefer the early morning starts.
So when you're talking about, kind of plotting the race and kind of the running part of it, what about like food and like nutrition and hydration? Did that change from the bear, or how did it even go in this race? Were you dialed in? Did it work out, or did you have those moments?
Safe to say, I feel super dialed in with my nutrition. I can honestly say I have not had a problem knocking on picnic table wood right here.
Right.
I'm good. I feel very confident in what I'm using.
So what are you
and
using now?
I'm strictly Core Power V Fuel all the way. I supplement with turkey and cheese sandwiches when I can. And what else? I do good with water. Water's fine. A lot of water. I use a lot of Run Gum.
Yeah,
wow.
so that's
Run Gum's an interesting brand. A lot of ultra runners know about.
right.
but,
So you're
it's-
like sponsored or their ambassador for them. And when I first saw that you kind of got that gig, I was like, that's pretty new and interesting because we don't know about it.
Right.
And then it was at where were we? It was that first race we did this year, Temp. 3 of us went down for Temp, and we're going down there, we're drinking coffee, and somebody said, "You want some gum?" I'm like, "Yeah, give me some gum so I don't have this stinky coffee breath in the car." And take off, and we're running. I'm like, I got gum in my mouth, and I never have gum in my mouth when I run. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was weird,
Well,
but
I'll get you some.
I liked
Well,
it.
see, and I
It'll be
went
easy.
down to,
I'm not saying it's like magic, but
it's different, right?
It's different.
Gives you
Yeah,
something to
it's
do,
different.
kind of.
And
Yeah, it
then
is.
the bonus with that is that you're getting the caffeine you need without having to take it through
yeah, I don't have a problem with
liquid.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a liquid or a food.
Right.
So you're not having to digest that as well. So
Yeah.
it's just, it's a quick kick and it's an easy way to supplement through the night.
Yeah,
too,
that would be nice.
Without having to, again, just eat random stuff just to keep your brain awake or have other type of.
I think that's magic right there through the night. That might be nice.
And see, and I feel bad. We need to get these guys on because I was down at the run event in Texas in December and met these guys.
Right.
And they gave me some
Samples.
some samples.
Right.
And they were just samples, so it's not gonna last long. But I took some, and the funny thing is, I took some. The first time was on my third day of the run event because you have to be on your feet from like 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you don't go anywhere. So I was going through a low spell, so I popped some gum in, and it did. It gave you a little boost. And again, they were samples, so I haven't tried any running. But I talked to him. I said, man, I'd love to get you guys on our show because it was new then. And now I've seen quite a bit of an explosion with it. Now stores are carrying it a little bit now.
Right.
But it's an interesting tool.
It's a simple product.
Yeah, simple. Yeah,
Easy on
very
your
simple.
tummy.
Seems like really good folks. I met 3 or 4 people at their booth, and I think a couple of them were I don't want to say owners because I don't know
Founders.
for sure. Founders maybe, or some big wigs, younger crew. But yeah, that's an interesting tool, and it's just called Run Gum.
Run Gum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
It's good stuff.
So Core Power is just like is it a calorie drink, right? Isn't that what that is? Core Power.
It's a protein drink.
Okay.
Yeah, not necessarily like a protein shake or a smoothie, but it's a milk-based product.
So it's like
So-
muscle milk.
Ensure.
It's people would label it like that, but not quite.
So what do you mean not quite? Help me out here. Come on now.
So it comes in little plastic bottles,
It comes
right?
in
Right.
little plastic bottles, a little bit too big to put in my pack when I'm running. So it's just a quick, straight shot down
At the aid
station.
station. You cross your fingers and go. But
Cross your fingers and go. Hopefully
like,
that doesn't
that's
come
all
back
right.
up.
And
Hashtag that.
so it's as I've used that. I started using that at the Bear last year, And that's when I realized, I'm like, wow, this stuff really works. And just the added protein, I think it's like 26 grams of protein just in a single bottle. And getting that amount of protein so quickly might be a little bit crazy.
It could upset your tummy a little bit.
It could upset your tummy. It hasn't happened to me, so it's a quick turnaround, and it's a quick replenishing
Right.
of what I need. And the calories and sugar, not a lot of sugar.
And you just
but
put
yeah,
those in
it's
your
helpful.
drop bag?
I put them in my drop
Okay.
bag, and they're great warm. They were really warm
Oh,
out on this
no.
race course, but you just do what you need to do.
So where do you get these core powers? Is this something you just get at the grocery store, or you gotta go to the running store?
Yeah, you can buy them anywhere.
Okay.
Target, Smith's.
Okay.
That's so
Fresh
nice
market,
now that
everywhere.
you can pretty much go to just about any grocery store and
Nothing
you can get
specific.
stuff like that for running, which
Yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah.
In the past, no. You have to go to like run specific store.
GNCs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
You
right.
go in
I
there
don't
and
think
you're
they
like
even carry
you're like
those
that
there.
token like little dorky runner guy
That's
going
right.
in there.
Guy comes over with got the sleeves cut so
Yeah.
the shirts fit him. And you're like, hey, what's up? I just need something to run.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, come here, I'll help you out."
Come here, man. So do you train when you like up in you're training? Do you use core power before you run? Sometimes
After. Yeah,
okay.
always after.
So you use it with training. Then V Fuel, is it the gels or the powdered drink or both, or what do you use there?
Oh, good point. Yeah, I use the gels. I
Okay.
take them out on my runs with me, and I usually don't fuel with that type of gel
Yeah.
while I'm on short runs, like under 10 runs. 10 miles. I don't usually supplement too much, but
Right.
yeah, I take the gels out. I'm a big fan of the Cool Citrus,
Nice.
but
Cool
they also
Citrus.
have the
Yeah.
The powder,
Yeah.
the fuel powder.
That's pretty good stuff.
Which I love.
Yeah.
You've
that the
tried
drink
that?
stuff?
Yeah.
really
They got
good.
the cherry cola. They've
Oh,
got the
I got
ginger
the
twist.
I got the ginger. I got a case of the ginger twist right now. That
Do
stuff
ya?
is so
They've
good.
got
Love it.
the lime.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
lime's good too.
Cool
and
lime.
the tangerine, and that it's really good. And I've tried a lot of different brands, and I'm not sponsored by V Fuel or anything like that. But
Not yet.
Yeah.
I've really come to enjoy their products.
Yeah.
And I just use them a lot. They're easy on the tummy.
They
See,
are.
and I'm in the same boat. I find myself gravitating. I do the peach cobbler and the cool citrus a lot, and I'm the same. I mean, we did the 18 miles up to Lewis Peak, and I just took one gel, because I'm just kind of playing with some things. But
Yeah.
they've got a good product though. It's easy on the stomach, and it's never thick.
Yeah.
Right.
Like some of the gels that are really thick, and you're
Yeah,
kind of
yep.
like trying to choke them down, like eating a snail.
Like
Ugh.
goo. So I mean, I'm not bad mouthing them, but I took a goo on that run and it was like chewing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst.
Especially
Yeah.
when it's cold. Have you ever had a goo when it's like really cold out?
Yeah,
And
you
you
break
do.
your tooth
Yeah,
on
it's
that
weird
one.
how
Well,
it
do you
gets
know the
that
trick
way.
with that? What you do?
You got to put it in your
Put
shorts.
it in your
or-
bra, right?
Well, I mean,
Depends on what I'm
this
wearing
is a
that day.
G-rated show, but I usually put it in my socks.
So what?
Especially if they're my high socks. I stick it in my sock.
Huh.
It kind of warms it up a little bit.
I just hold
kind
it
of a
for a while and
microwave.
play with it, and then it is ready to go. I'm talking about the gels.
Okay.
What else? So last time you were on our show,
Bacon feet.
bacon feet.
Oh,
And that was when you walked up today. You walked up and, okay, let's
Pre-spry.
get this straight. So the race was Saturday,
Yeah.
right?
just barely.
Okay. And today is Monday.
Monday
Yep.
morning.
And the drive from Ogden to the race is
10
10
long
hours. So
Yeah.
she runs a 100-mile
Two tired
race.
ultra runners.
Her and her husband, no driver, no Uber, cab driver.
Ooh.
Yeah, right.
Ultra Uber.
Ultra Uber.
Ubers.
So they run the 100 miles. They drive 10 hours. She comes walking up today on a Monday morning, and you look great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thanks.
you showed us your feet. We had to take a good look at those because of the
Right.
bacon feet, and they looked
Well, you asked to
night
see my
and
feet.
day.
We did.
We did. First thing
Yeah.
we said, "How you doing? Can we see your feet?"
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's our new line. But your feet look night and day different.
They do.
So
They
did
do.
you change anything there? That's a big one.
No, not really. I know I'm using a different type of shoe,
Mm-hmm.
same brand.
So what'd you
Same
use?
socks.
Can you talk about which one you used this time?
Yeah, I'd love to. I have been wearing the Mafati 3s of the Hoka
Right.
for quite a while. I still love those. I have a real tender spot in my heart for those. Have probably about 6 more brand new in a box.
Ready to
And
roll.
Hoarding them, right?
I don't know what I should do with them. But yeah, and so when the new Mafati 4s came out this past spring, got my hands on a pair of those, thankfully, and love them. Super wide toe box, still the same feel, a little bit more explosive undercarriage, and they work great. I love them for climbing. They're super fast flying down the hills. Love them, love them, love them. However, I still have blisters, And I think it's just maybe the way I run.
You did go 100 miles too.
It was a
Yeah.
long
so-
way.
It was hot.
It was kind of hot.
Yeah.
I did change socks. And I tried different things. I haven't had a pedicure in 3 months. That's
Yeah.
really sad. So no one else asked to see my feet.
I don't think
So
you
I've
need
tried
a pedicure.
to.
Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
gosh, there's
what-
nothing there to
Right.
cure.
What socks do you use then?
I use the Injinjis.
Do you? The
Okay.
little toe, warmy, little
I
cute,
do.
cozy socks?
I enjoy those. I think those help me have more traction in my shoes, if that's even possible. I like that feel, and I've come from a long background of not wearing those to wearing these in the last year and a half, and I've enjoyed that change. And
What,
yeah,
what about like any products on your feet?
nothing.
Nothing. So you just go foot, sock,
Straight nothing.
Straight in there.
and then the favorite thing you just barely said I got to bring up is the explosive undercarriage. I really like this. That just cracks me up.
No,
I'm sorry.
maybe I should have censored
That's
that. I
ours
don't
too,
know.
folks. We own that now. The explosive.
So it's
undercarriage.
it is right. I'm thinking something totally different,
I
but
know you were.
we're talking shoes. So barefoot, Injinji, Mafati 3.
Force.
Four.
Force, sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the
That's
the
newest
deal.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Wow. Because I know a lot of people like to put something, whether it's a
Like squeaky cheeks or
yeah.
some sort of
body glides
yeah.
or
a balm.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
body
toe-
glide.
trail
We've talked
toes.
about that. That's
Yeah.
not.
that's not
the way
your
to go.
your
right,
bag
or
for
it's like
sure.
a desk like that, like something you use for a baby's diaper rash. What's that stuff?
Baby powder?
No, Desitin.
Desitin?
Desitin.
Oh.
I don't
Desitin.
know. I'm
Something
out.
like that?
It's been a
No,
long
I'm out of
time.
that,
Yeah, it's been a while for me too, but
Sure.
still, I was the only reason I bring that up because another fellow here local, Jared Garr, tried his second 100-miler,
Yeah.
Bryce, and it was hot,
Yeah.
crazy hot down there, and I think he got a little behind on his time from what I saw, but also he got terrible blisters again,
Yeah.
and this article came across my feed on Facebook the other day about how to take care of your feet, and this is like from somebody that's been around for a long time, and I sent it to him, and the guy was just raving about just slather your feet with these certain products, right? That's what they used to do a long time ago. So that's why I ask.
Yeah, it's again. I think it's just a combination of whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
and I think everyone's gonna
And
chime
training
in on
with,
that.
Yeah.
I
too.
would love anyone else's advice on this.
Right.
But you can't really try it out on a
Yeah.
100-miler. You just kind of
Well,
have to.
You can try it
You
out
can
on-
try it out. I mean, the consequences might
The
be
con-
catastrophic,
yes.
right?
But,
Yes.
and the other thing, too, you think about your feet is, say, that was your first 100 at the Bear, and not that you do a lot of hundreds your second 100, but the miles and the time on your feet change your foot.
They do.
Right?
They
They
do.
Your foot
change
gets fat,
calloused
right?
or whatever. So even just having, say your next 100, whatever that might be, you might
Bear?
be the Bear. Okay, is perfect. And thank goodness, by the way, quick Bear tag. Their website's back up.
Is it?
I found it.
Is
this
it the
morning.
same?
It took a while to load, and I didn't spend
Right.
a lot of time because I was
They,
in a
did
hurry.
they
but
change it?
It didn't. It looked like it had some aesthetic changes to
Oh,
it.
okay.
But it's up anyway.
Good,
Back.
good.
Sorry. So now the Bear, your feet might do even better because now you're. I won't say getting used to it, but you are. You're training your body muscles for running, but you're also time on your feet
Yeah,
is
your feet
different
get
as
tougher.
well.
I am going to say that I think you need to have that right pinky toe cut off. 'Cause it's looking pretty angry right now.
Yeah, it's not very pretty.
We'll
Yeah.
get a 2-for-1 because I'm still down that road.
Yeah, Eric's going to get a toe cut off. He's going to have his toe cut off as well.
Yeah,
And
it's-
you think I'm lying, folks, but I'm not.
Let me just,
It's
It's
Yeah.
the one he broke last year.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the problem isn't so much that one; it's the problem it's causing to the toe next to it.
Right.
So I'm having some foot problems again.
Yep.
And so what I found out is the one that got mangled last year, since it's like not functional and doesn't really like to move, it's like just a soggy Vienna sausage.
oh,
The one next to it just is kind of making space and kind of moving how he wants, and so it's causing some foot problems. So anyway,
He's
Yeah.
going to have
Feet.
the Spock version of the
that's
toes.
right. I'll be, what's up, fellas? I'm gonna have to get some Injinjis and have somebody sew off the other ones or
Yeah,
something.
you could
Freak
I
some
think
people
Emily
out.
could do that.
Yeah, freak some people out.
easy.
So your overall experience with the Bighorn obviously seems like you're happy about it. Your time was great. You look great. You're kind of in good spirits after a 10-hour drive.
Yep.
And that's awesome. So would you do that race again?
So funny. When I say Bryce, I'm not talking about the Bryce Canyon race, which
Yeah.
coincidentally just happened.
Right.
So my husband Bryce and I were talking at the finish, and we were both just, you finished, you're hammered, you're
cooked,
like,
man.
no way. It was so hot. It
Yeah.
was probably, I think it was mentioned, it was about 105 in the canyon coming out. Wow. This huge dry canyon. It was really,
There's
it was
no
really
need for that.
bad. and really low. And the aid stations at that point were no longer serving cold beverages. It was just get what you can and get out of there. And so it was hot. And it was a hot day for a lot of people around the state running. And you just deal with that and you move forward. And beautiful and whatnot. So we were discussing at the end, oh gosh, you know what? I think that's it. I don't think we're coming back. I think that's probably good. And I was agreeing. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm done with that. That's probably good. And slept the night, went to the breakfast the next morning. Beautiful breakfast for the 100-mile finishers. Great pancake breakfast, probably 200 people there. Just a real fun time. And we were already deciding about when to come back next year and how to get you guys to come out there and run too.
Well, I think it all depends on Hard Rock for next year.
Yeah, it's
really
true.
It does.
Because Bighorn, it's sad to say, that's been on my list for years. Because I've a lot of people from Utah head up there, so we have a lot of friends, and they love it. And I've always wanted to go up there and take a family trip, head to some of the, even come back through Rushmore or the Badlands or something like that, which I think would be awesome. So I want to, but it depends on.
It's Hard Rock, right? Because it's a qualifier also.
It is. Yeah,
So
I think if I don't get into Hard Rock next year, consider it for sure.
Yeah, because it really is. I mean, I've done a lot of races in June around here, and I want to get in that mode of not repeating as much as I can to try some new stuff because I don't know how much longer I'll be doing this. But yeah, Bighorn is way up there.
Yeah,
but
I think
if we
a good
could get
combo, a good combo would be doing Scout Mountain, do the 60K, 2 weeks out, and then go do Bighorn.
Bighorn, that probably would work. Because I'd go back to Scout Mountain.
I might.
Yeah, I'd go back there.
I still have PTSD from that that heat.
But you never know what else is going to pop up between now and then. There could be another race or two that even are brand new. I mean, you just never know. I mean, April, May time frame. But yeah, definitely. So you'd go back up there though.
I would. Yeah, it was really amazing. And I have friends that are looking at maybe doing their first hundreds next year. And the whole time I'm thinking, I wonder if I would recommend this or like the Bear. For the first 100, and this seemed.
I think Zion's a good first 100.
You think that's a good 100?
I think so.
I can't speak on that, but
see, I think any 100 pretty much is a good first 100 because that's conversation comes up all the time.
It does.
At the end of the day, you're still going 100 miles.
Yeah.
And it depends on what you like.
Right.
Because my first 100 was Wasatch, and everybody's like, "Oh man, I can't believe that was your first 100."
Well, back in the day, there wasn't a whole lot to choose
There wasn't,
from.
but then I mean, no offense, but there's like the Buffalo Run 100
right.
here.
That's
local,
a great first 100
if you like to run. But see, for me, I don't want to do it because it's like that whole course is runnable.
It is.
So if you're not running, it's almost like I should be running, right? So for me, if I get a mountainous course, hiking I'm good with.
Right.
And mentally, I like being in the mountains. I like the elevation, the flatter stuff that people say, "Oh no, start off with an easier one." I think easy is very relative when you get a 100-mile race. So just jump in, man.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
because you're not going to do Hard Rock as your first one.
No, because you have to have a qualifier.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Same Western States, same thing. You have to have a qualifier.
Because Bear's a tough race for
a
first 100.
The Bear was my first 100-mile finish.
Yeah, and it's Terrace. So I mean, I don't know. I think the first 100, just jump in, do what you like. If you like mountains, do it.
Yeah,
that's true.
If you like to run flat, do it.
Yeah,
but
the crazy thing about the Bighorn is that once you're in, you're in. If there's a problem, or if you go AWOL, or you get spooked, or you can't get out of there.
So there's no dropping out.
You're in there, or unless you get to the next aid station.
Right.
There's really only 3 aid stations.
Wow.
Because then you're just coming back down.
Oh, you're coming back
through
them,
the other aid
right?
stations.
See, I like that. I like having
too.
no extraction point because you can't make an excuse.
Yeah.
I mean, there's smaller ones mixed in that
Right.
have support.
Yeah.
But there aren't access points.
Gotcha.
Really. So it's when you're in, you're in.
Well,
and that's a good and a bad thing.
And Bighorn's not a lottery.
No.
So to me, that's a plus when you can get into a race that's not a lottery because it helps.
When does that
I
open
think.
up? That opens up a little bit later, right?
Oh, good point.
February,
it
right?
fills in really, really fast.
Right.
Early in the year. I think it was February.
I think it is
February.
a February type of thing.
Entry.
They open it up around like Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you're right. It fills up
fills
like
fast.
that. Like
Very
super
fast. And that's attributed to the great race
quick. Right.
that it is. It definitely fits that bill.
That's awesome.
And they've got quite a few distances too.
Yeah.
They do.
So I mean, even if you have a spouse or significant other. One could do 100, the other could do, I think they've got
50 miler?
50 mile,
50K.
They got like in the
50K.
30K range maybe,
Yep.
and I should have had that
Or they
handy.
used to
But
at least.
yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
there's different distances. You don't have to go up to Bighorn and do the 100. You could
Right.
always be your first 50 or something else. It's just a nice area.
And that 50, it's actually 52 miles coming back, which that would be just a fantastic 50 miler because it's almost all downhill. I mean,
Wow.
there's some pretty
Really?
big ups,
Right on.
but considering you're going up for most of the first part of the race.
Right.
You're coming down.
So I was thinking about that as I was, doing my power hiking all the way
Get to the
back to the
turnaround.
finish.
Get to the turnaround.
There were people flying past me, which for once that was okay because I
Right.
knew that they weren't doing the 100. They were just flying by, waving, good job, and
Right. That's awesome.
And
Yeah,
we've
so-
had people on the show before. We've talked about those out and backs on how much they can help you. Because you
Yeah,
do
you can
see
gauge,
people.
yeah,
You
where
know,
you're
but you
at.
see just more people because in a 100-mile race, you're socked into a location. If it's point to point,
Yeah.
and you might have 10 people that you see for 100 miles. You
Right.
just flip flop.
Yeah, you get in that like little group of people.
Yeah, your
right?
little core group of
Yeah.
people. Now, when you do an out and back, you get to see the guy and girl in 1st.
Mhm.
People you may know that are faster or slower.
Right.
So people talk about, oh, it's just kind of cool when they run by and slap high five and good job. It's that picking you up thing. So that's another thing to consider, I think, when you're picking a race.
well, there's definitely some unusual trail etiquette I had to learn with that type of a race.
Just getting out of the way
because-
and stuff.
Getting out of the way because the trail is very, very thin trail. I would say it may not even be 2 feet wide. So it's a really fine line for most of it. I mean, there's definitely bigger parts of it, but for what I can recall, it was very thin. And so when you're just heading up and, it stays light till about 9:30, 9:45, and all of a sudden you're seeing these bright lights coming back down the mountain at you, and they're not the 50-mile start. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't start till the whole, next day.
Next day, yeah.
You're thinking, holy cow, here are the winners. Here come
Yeah.
the leaders. And you learn, you just step out of the way
Yeah.
and cover up your lamp and you let them go and cheer them on. And you think, wow, I wonder if anybody would know if I just turned around right now.
Right.
Followed
Would
him down.
anybody
No,
No,
check?
I was
Like,
there. You didn't see
How
me.
could I know?
I think that you bring up a good point about some trail etiquette is when you're out racing or when you're out on a train run, you've got your headlamp on.
Yeah.
You come up to somebody. There's 2 things you need to do. First, cover up your. Okay, 3. First, take out your earphones, right?
Just by experience,
Yeah,
right?
take out your earphones. Second, if you have your headlamp on, you either need to cover it or turn it to the side,
Yeah.
folks, because you don't want to get that in the eyeballs. It's no fun.
Yeah, because it takes a minute to get those glares out of your eyes when you keep going.
Yeah, or if you're Eric and you're wearing the waist version of the UltrAspire light,
The Lumen 600.
yeah, the Lumen 600, folks. Listen, if you want to spend, that's like the best $200 you're going to spend. That thing's so bright, but you don't go, hey, look at my light, and then point to the light.
And in all fairness, I never said that. Someone else said that. They said, "What are you wearing on your light?" And that's how it started. It wasn't like I was
Yeah.
showing off my.
Some lady was really interested in Eric's light one day.
Jeez.
All right. So, and then I pulled it up. So Bighorn, you've got 100-mile, 52-mile, 32-mile, and 18-mile.
Oh, something for
So
everybody.
there is something
Yeah,
for
that's
everybody
great.
in that race. So maybe I'll just go up next year, and even if you get into Hard Rock, maybe you do the 32-mile,
Yeah.
52-mile, right?
I think so. That'd be
Yeah,
good.
that'd
good
Yeah.
training
if you
rest.
have time off work, right?
Beautiful area.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all that time off. So, well, I think it's great how well you did. It was. I mean,
Yeah.
we all
Thanks,
of us
guys.
down here, we were texting each other. We
Yep.
had some people that I don't know how. I think Debbie Farka gave us some info where
She had
you
the
get.
app.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what it was. You guys could track it. But yeah, we were throwing texts. But have you heard anything? And oh, Bryce just finished. Tara's here at mile
Something
90
such.
something.
Yep.
And then we also had friends running. Bryce, kind of same thing going on. It's always nice
Cool.
to see when you're not running, seeing other people and how well they're doing.
Yeah.
So. And it'll be hard. I'm going to Yellowstone this weekend, so following
Yeah.
Western States is going to be tough for
It's
me.
going to be
Yeah.
almost impossible,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it really is. So I'm going to kind of go through some withdrawals, I
Yeah,
think.
you will.
'Cause I'm always interested in these smaller races like Western to see how well people do.
Small race. All right, so Tara, what you got next?
What do I have next?
Yeah.
The big focus is the bear.
Okay.
Just going to try to get rid of this bacon and move on. I think it'll be about a week or 2. That'll be good. Yeah, but really just the bear. There's a couple small ones that could be in the mix. I might be looking at one of the discrete series
Okay.
up at
yeah.
Alta.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Those guys put on a good
Yeah, they
event.
do.
Have you
right?
done one of theirs yet?
I haven't. Didn't work out with my schedule last
Yeah,
year.
that's with
I
mine.
think Alta might this year. Could. Just
When
family
is that? Do you know?
vacations.
Just
Sorry, Julian. I think it's on the 18th.
Those are like 10 mile,
July?
of July. Okay.
10-mile runs.
That'd be a
October.
Wednesday. Is that like a middle of the week type of
This
event?
one's on Saturday. Saturday
Okay,
in the
so
afternoon.
July 19th on a Tuesday. I know
Oh,
that's
July 9th,
That's my
Saturday.
boy's
Oh,
birthday.
yes. It's in July.
Okay.
Mid-July.
Well, and I've heard they do a great job too.
Yeah.
And their courses are great. And I've
Right.
wanted to do one, and they're local here in Salt Lake area.
They are.
Yeah.
Big group. Logan Peak this
Yeah.
Saturday.
You're
We're gonna
volunteering,
go help
right?
out, perhaps.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
the
always
rumor.
a great show.
Rumors
Yeah.
you're going to help at the aid station.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I've
dear.
been told.
Okay, we better.
Lane's counting on you.
Oh gosh. So Logan Peak, that's just a fun local event. Just wish I could run it this year, but just a great run. That was
That
my
is.
first ultra ever, and
That's a
it's
great
always
event.
good going back up to Logan and hanging out up there in that beautiful area. And goodness, I don't know, a couple other little events going on. There's the Wildflower venue put on by a bunch of women up at Snow Basin. That's a fun trail run.
And that's women only, right?
Women only, yep. And they have biking and running mixed in. That's a Friday, Saturday event. There's a couple other festivals with Anshi's Dope 2 and the Otessa Summit, which is in the first weekend in September.
Right.
And those will be really hot items coming up.
Right
Those
on.
will be around. And just going to relax. Just going to get healed up,
Get
enjoy
ready
the
for
rest
the
of
bear.
summer, climb some more peaks. I'm really interested in getting down in the Salt Lake area and learning more about the peaks up in that area. I just
There's a
haven't
lot
had
of 'em.
time
There
to
are.
go
There's a
and
lot of them.
explore. So
Wranglers, Wasatch Mountain Wranglers are always,
They're always getting after it.
yeah,
They're
a lot
always
of
up
peaks.
there
Yep. It's
messing around.
always fun to see the photos that come out of those
yeah,
things.
that's true.
And then, I'm going to skip gears a little bit, shift gears. So it was a big weekend for your family. And I know that
that's
you
right.
and Bryce went up to Bighorn and had a great experience. But my goodness, what was going on here? And I knew it before going in. Your son, Christian, is part of the Ogden High School track team.
Cross
right?
country
He's
too.
a sophomore.
Yeah.
Both.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's,
Cross-country.
he's only a sophomore.
Yeah, he's a
Cross-country and
sophomore.
Track.
Holy cow.
Track
And
is right
so
now.
we've got, this area's got some good run.
Ogden
high school. Ogden
yeah,
High's
Ogden
awesome.
High's been killing it for
And they've got a runner.
at
I
least
think,
10 years now.
Yeah, isn't it Alec?
Alec Parsons.
Yeah,
Alec
he's going to
Parsons.
Stanford.
He's going to Stanford.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this kid's a uber stud.
Yeah, he's
right?
legitimate. Yeah, he's
So they went
Was
out. Oh,
the
go
kid
ahead.
that went up to Oregon and ran a couple years ago, you guys remember his name?
I don't.
I think he was an Ogden High
Wouldn't surprise
runner
me.
as well.
They've got
I
a
want
great
to say that,
program.
or he was a Weber High runner, but training with the Ogden High kids. Because the Ogden High kids, there's this big rivalry in our area between Ogden High and Davis. And you talk about two nationally ranked cross country teams.
Yeah.
And they're just killing it every year.
women's and men's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boys
both, right?
and girls.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Both
which is
groups.
amazing, the consistency that they're doing it. So that's just a little background on that. I mean, it's not like this fluke thing. These kids have been putting in the work
Yeah,
for
Right.
years. It's awesome to see.
And it's a tribute to their coaches.
Yes.
It's definitely.
And so, and your son Christian was on. They went to. Was it California? They were at. Where was
North
it?
Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay, so her son Christian, while she's up running 100 miles with Bryce, her husband, their son's in North Carolina. He was on the 4x1 mile relay team, right?
4-by-mile relay team.
Yeah. So and I'm not. I don't follow track. I'm going to say that right now. I don't.
Yeah,
but
I'm just learning all about it too.
But the interesting parts of this is there's been a record. That record, the 4x1 mile relay, has stood for 40 years.
Whoa.
Right?
Didn't know
40.
that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So these kids set out purposely to break this record. So they went down and broke the record.
Broke the record.
They broke it in 17:04.55. And the reason I say that is because the second place team was 17:04.61.
Yeah.
So they were .06. It was literally a photo finish.
It was.
And
I think there's maybe a YouTube video of that.
There
now.
is,
And
yeah.
we need
Several.
we need to put that on.
that
the
was
website.
amazing because
Definitely.
these kids from Great Oaks, California, they closed.
They
that
closed
last
hard.
few meters were closing hard, but Alec just I mean,
Held
you
on.
could see
Held
it too.
on.
It's almost
Bless
like
his
you
heart.
saw a glance and just like nope, and
Yeah.
just did it. But her son Christian was part of this national championship, is what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And now it's a record that it stood for 40 years once before. Both these teams would have they both broke the record, but obviously you only get one record.
Right.
So, I mean, come on. How does that feel as a parent? Really?
It's just amazing. And we were so lucky that we hit the 84 split right in time to decide, should we go to Salt Lake and see him come in on the airplane, or should we just run back home to the other kids? And we were like, let's just go. And I had a wonderful mother-in-law hang out with the kids, and one more extra hour so we could go at the airport and see them all come in. And just the sweetest guys. Like, it couldn't be a more deserving group of young men, like really good guys. And I'll mention their names if I can remember them all. It's Alec Parsons, Garrett Barton, and
is
Travis.
that Lydia's boy?
Yeah, it's Lydia's boy. And Travis Sweeney.
Travis Sweeney's a good runner.
Good runner.
He is. I've heard that name in the paper.
His older sister was a star and is a star down at the U right now. And again, as I'm just learning about all this, and Kristen's just a sophomore, I apologize if I'm botching any of the names or of the event.
Sarah Sweeney.
Yes.
Yes.
So
she's a nationally ranked runner. She's been killing it. So
it's in the blood.
It is. And it's just that Ogden High culture is so impressive with their runners.
And this team, this Great Oaks team in California, it's a pretty big school in Temecula, and they mean business. They had won many of the other national events, individual and relays, already at that meet, and came into this ready to win this too. Ogden High hadn't even been mentioned in any of the prelude.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Nothing was mentioned. No pre-interviews before the race. They were all just hanging out in their bright orange tiger, uniforms, and
Big
just
O on the front.
the big O on the front, just enjoying the moments. And they just had a riot. And the humidity was
We're talking
at
North
20%
Carolina.
that
You
day.
and I know about North Carolina.
We know about the Carolina.
We know about the
humidity.
Carolina. You're a South Carolina girl. I'm a North Carolina fella. So we know about that. There's no reason to have that race there in June. What are those people thinking?
Well,
Poor
the point,
kids.
everything kind of fell into place. Like, there was 20% humidity, it was 70 degrees.
Say what?
So it was just perfect. And they
That
were
is
coming
good.
down, like our boys were down there from altitude.
Yeah.
And just ran their guts out.
They
and
did.
if you guys watch that on YouTube or on the New Balance, I forgot the exact site. If you look at it,
We'll have it on our
Yeah.
link for
We'll
sure.
get it up.
you'll see it. It's super heartwarming. And really, these 100 miles and these ultra runs are great, and I love it, and it's fun, and it keeps me young. But I'm telling you, when you see your kids perform and have events like this that's going to carry them through to their adulthood, that just kind of makes you happy.
Well,
It's
and
all worth it.
your kid, you say he's a sophomore
He's a sophomore.
and a part of this. So I mean, we're going to be expecting some big things, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Next year.
I know.
and
There's no place to go but up.
they really, I mean, and he's
Yeah.
had some good tutelage from some of these other kids, like in saying Alec having to get to train. And I know it's
Yeah.
like it's high school and close to age, but it's always nice to have someone like that to mentor it even a
Yeah.
little bit to see how and see what it's capable. I mean, this kid's going to Stanford.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
that's nothing to sneeze at.
No.
And the team that they held off, this Great Oaks team, they also are the national record holders for the 4x1600. So these kids that they really outstretched down the stretch was that was legit. It was cool to see.
Business. It was all business.
Yeah.
And these kids from Ogden, Little Ogden, right?
Little Ogden,
They
man.
held their own.
That's cool.
And I don't think, unfortunately, it's even been covered by any of our
That's
local stations.
so
Maybe
sad.
our
It's
newspaper. But
sad.
yeah, I think it's just tremendous. They did
Well,
a
we
really
need to
good
make
job.
that video go viral then,
Yeah.
folks. Help us out with that.
Yeah, there's enough
That'd be
negative
cool.
stuff out there. Let's bring
Yeah.
some positive,
That's right.
good feed. Because, you watch it, because at the end, I mean, it's a photo finish. Like, when I first watched it, I'm like, no way.
You're like,
he's
that
gonna
kid was
be-
closing hard,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, don't.
And then
oh,
Alec
hold on.
fell,
Yeah, he
and
rolled.
I mean, he's just exhausted,
Yeah.
and so it's just, I don't know, it's just cool things to see, especially like she said, these good kids.
Really good kids,
They're
just normal kids.
Yeah, just normal kids from the area.
Yep.
So congratulations to your
Thanks.
family. What a huge weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we all need a nap.
Yeah.
I think we have no groceries, but we all need a nap right now.
That's all you need, right? Just go get Even Stevens, get a burrito.
Even
Oh,
Stevens.
That's a great idea.
Yummy.
Good call.
That is the best. So, well, thanks again for coming back on the show.
Yeah,
course.
thank you.
It was kind of a quick little boom boom hitter because you barely raced. We wanted to get you back on. Congratulations, though. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I mean, seriously, the PR that you set for yourself, and 9 months later, you almost cut an hour a month. Pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
right?
funny.
So
That's cool to see the
What's gonna
growth,
happen
right?
out here? I don't know.
crazy good because
Yeah.
we see all the time up in the mountains training, and to see stuff pay off like this, it's just awesome to see.
It
And
is.
again,
Thanks.
from Little Old Ogden,
This
right?
is
right.
right here.
That's
these
right.
are our mountains
these
right
are,
here.
These
That's
are
where it all goes
we
down.
run these mountains. So thanks for coming on.
You bet, guys.
Wish you nothing but the best of luck, especially at the Bear. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
running that, so I probably won't ever see you. Maybe at the start line.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, congratulations to Bryce and to your son Christian. So cool. And we will have links to that because that's something that we want to definitely promote and help us spread that love for these young men that just accomplished something amazing. So that's it for today.
Yep.
From beautiful Mount Ogden Park at the base of Malin's Peak.
Yep.
We're signing out, and we will see you or hear you or listen to us next week. Thank you for listening to the TrailManners podcast. We'd like to thank Tara Warren for taking the time to join us fresh off her Bighorn 100 race. You can check out more of Tara on Instagram at RunWithTara. Always has some cool stuff and motivational things going on there. We'd also like to encourage you to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at TrailManners, or swing by our website at TrailManners.com. There you can check out all the cool gear, take some photos of our gear in some cool places, and we'd love to post that and share that. Or let us know on the contact page what you want to see, who you want to hear, even if you would like to be on our show. So until next time, this is Eric Manning with Joel Hatch reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.